Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. This is serious business. I'm in a silly mood today, sorry. Maybe we'll have some fun. No, Mo, no. I had this thought. I don't know what brought it on. Probably a question I got from one of you on, that old topic of affecting 7 generations backwards and forwards with your practice. I don't know, we get really preoccupied about things like that. And that's okay. I don't mean to demean that. What I'm saying is, I've talked about this in so many different ways, so many different times. You can look up videos on the channel, and a lot of times, like this one. I'm going to talk about this now, but it's not going to be in the description or the title. You just got to happen across it, I guess. But I'm just going to spit it out, and then we'll get into the go show. This one's for parents, specifically. But even if we're all offsprings of parents, right? So this relates to all of us. And this is the main point to always remember about our interpersonal relationships with others, but certainly within our own, what would you call it, genealogical relations, siblings, parents, grandparents, blah, 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 blah. This is the main thing, to analyze all of those relationships with complete strangers to intimate family members, that we are not simply the offspring of parents. And I don't mean some test tube babies or any of that, even that. But, we're pounded into our heads culturally, and this is because of religion. And the medical establishment adopts it largely because of religion. I mean, it's in everything, that you are a product of an egg and a sperm. There's 2 things that make you. And in Buddhism, we blow that all to hell. That's just bullcrap. There's 3. What? Yeah, there's 3. There's you. I mean, as I'm saying it, you've got to be going, oh. If you're a parent, how many times have you looked at your child and go, she didn't get that from me. She must have gotten it from you. I didn't know you when you were 6 months old, so I don't know. Maybe that's from you. Right? Parents do this all the time. Oh, he's got that. Yeah, he gets that from his father. I'm not saying it's entirely false, but I'm saying it's entirely misleading. We talk about this freight train of karma, tendencies and conditions that we're all constructed of, let alone our mental construction of. And this is the battle. Mentally, we try to convince ourselves, we're fed this into our brains every day, that I'm my mother and I'm my father in varying degrees. No. You share some of those tendencies and conditions of your mother and father, each and every one of you, whatever your sex is, whatever you identify with. But what you're identifying with is yours. You have your own tendencies and conditions that brought you into manifestation in that situation between her freight train and his freight train. You are your own freight train. There are three in the birth process, just like all phenomena in the universe. The planets didn't just pop into existence. There's a construction of many other factors that coalesce into a planet. Just as a human being, you are your own energetic freight train, and you're a fit. Good, bad, or otherwise varying degrees, it's the combination. And you may exhibit some traits, dads out there, that are not recognizable. Celebrate those, because that's the individual. That's your daughter. That's your son. Because it isn't all you, so egocentric. It isn't all her or him. It's your child is exhibiting their own set of tendencies and conditions. Be aware of that. Because as a parent, it's super instructive, super helpful to witness the individuation of that child, so you know what behaviors to support. Well, that, I don't know where he gets that from. I'm not going to pay attention, blah, 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 or I'm going to squelch it because that's not mine. What kind of egomaniacal thinking is that? But we do it. And then we set up the child to rebel against us because I don't like the you in me. I don't like, you keep saying, I'm just like my mother. I hate you. Right. Because you're being pigeonholed. You're not being celebrated for your uniqueness. This is the drama of parent and child, isn't it? Spend more time paying attention. You know how you can do that? It's really easy. Practice Buddhism. That's what we do every time we go in front of the Butsudan and we chant to our mandala to awaken, hello, Gohanzan, Buddhaness, awareness of what's happening. Not imposing our warehouse of data and saying, conform. As human beings, as parents, and as children, that perspective will answer lots of riddles for you. Celebrate life instead of constantly trying to, I'm a sculptor and I'm making this thing. We do it to ourselves. It's going to seem incongruous being the way I've been talking, but relax. Now do it, relax. Oh my gosh. Am I not just another human? Seriously, though. I mean, I do mean, even though I'm in a silly mood, I am serious as a heart attack about this. You've got to understand that we're all this momentum of energies, and we're not owned by or made from. We're all individual freight trains of energy moving through space-time, making time in our own unique individual ways. And the sooner the parent in us recognizes that we are witnessing the formations of a mind in front of us, rather than trying to own it, or what we can do is support the life-affirming behavior and try to discourage, or at least point out where tendencies and conditions are not supportive, not by our opinion, because for us it would be bad, but for them it would be bad. It would be non-life affirming. What do you have to gain by that? Show me. Teach me. That's being a parent. Right? It's a hard lesson, and every parent who's had a child that's gone through their teenage years knows this to some degree, because it's forced on you. You have to awaken. A child will not let you get by. Right? Moms, dads out there, are you the same person you were when you looked at that little 6-month-old baby? Oh, she pooped. And when she's 20 years old or he's 20 years old, are you the same person? Oh my goodness, you were humbled, weren't you? Yeah, but you were humbled because you were forcibly, in your own mind, had to let go of these stupid preconceptions. The individual will instantiate. Wouldn't it be better to be a handshake in that development? A lot of the bad behavior we witness in each other, in our parents and our children, is the result of just egotistical resistance. So stop resisting. Start nurturing toward. Right? You dislike something, let it be known you dislike it. Don't be just idly, oh, you walk on water. I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't manipulate. Don't devise. Be engaged. I know, it sounds easy, but it isn't. I have a daughter. The lessons I'm learning. All right, enough on that. Let's get back to Nichiren. He continues in this, the entity of the wonderful and difficult to understand law. The complete and final teaching on perfect enlightenment sutra declares, quote, the beginningless illusions and ignorance that beset all living beings, wasn't I just talking about that? Are all produced by the perfectly enlightened mind of the thus come ones. Holy my. Did you just hear that? Just my robe here. Did you hear what he just said? This whole mess of misunderstandings, expectations, determinations we make, we don't even know what we base our reasoning on. We just, this is what I learned, so how you do it. Wrong, right, in the middle, good, bad, whatever. All the adjectives. All of them. It's all produced from the same source. Right? We're all energy. The universe is energy, manifesting every potential that occurs randomly through it, settles into certain tendencies and conditions for each and every one of those instantiations. Yeah, samsarically, it looks to us like endless variety. Not going to end anytime soon. But the entirety of it, it all comes from the same energies of formations, amalgamations. Oh, look, here I am. Oh, look at this. Look what I can do with this. Right? Look at the endless things we've done with trees. Right? From logs to 2x4s, to toothpicks, to dinnerware, everything has its source in formation. And witnessing that is Buddhahood. The engine of life is Myoho Renge-kyo. Witnessing, inculcating it, being with it, is to be with everything, because everything is formed from the same thing. Witnessing that is enlightenment. So let's read it again. The Complete and Final Teachings on Perfect Enlightenment Sutra declares, quote, these are Shakyamuni's words, well, translated, right? The beginningless illusions and ignorance that beset all living beings. The beginningless. Now, a lot of people in the world will say beginningless. Oh, that's eternity. No. Eternity implies a before and an after. This is where the whole nonsense about reincarnation comes from. Right? There's only the moment. Space begins. And with space, there is a growing, a shaping. And that has a quality that we don't know how to describe yet. It's a fourth dimension, if you will. And we call it time. Because when there is something, it takes from here to here, it takes time to go from, you can't be there and there at the same moment. So there must be moments in between. Time. That's life. That's what we do. We create time. We experience time as formations are occurring. It's really that basic. So when he says the beginningless illusions, in those two words really, that illusion of space time is the first illusion, because that illusion isn't looking at the cause. It's the formation that's amazing. The space-time that's manifest of that potential grabs all our attention. And then, from then on, we're trying to hang on to stuff, possess it, identify with it. We ourselves are it, and identifying ourselves by virtue of all the other stuff. This is what we do in samsara. And Buddhism, Shakyamuni pointed out, that's where all our stress and anxiety comes from, is trying to juggle all this stuff, our identity itself. When we realize that all of it is just the engine of life. Let me think of an analogy here. Have you ever stood in the rain? Maybe it's a warm rain, doesn't have to be a cold rain. It's just a gentle rain, right? Have you ever thought to yourself, if I could just run all over the yard and down the streets and in the air and grab every single drop of rain, then, my friends, then I would know rain. Then I would be the rain master. I hope as I'm saying that, you're visualizing an insane, stupid cartoon entertaining you. You needn't go and grab every single drop of rain in order to know rain. Just stand there and witness it. It's amazing, this rain. And yet, that's what we do. That's how we live our lives. If I could just have control, collect. And then if I give any of that, then, I'm so amazing. I'm sharing. What about experiencing the rain, the magnificence of it? Be in it. It's the experience that matters, not the raindrops. That's how we live life. Look at Wall Street. Look at the world. Everybody's worried about what they have, what they over there have, what they're trying to take from us, what we can take from them. We have a planet. Where's your living with? Why are you constantly chasing something else so that you can be? You are being. You're missing it. Beginningless illusions and ignorance, not understanding this bigger truth. What are you doing, Chloe? You okay? My little dog. That beset all living beings. Interesting language. Beset us. We choose it, but it besets us. All of it, all this anxiety, all of this identification, produced by the perfectly enlightened mind of the thus come one. Just pay attention. Stop stressing and having all this anxiety about every drop of rain. Just be. Just be in the rain. Watch the rain. Admire the rain. Enjoy the raining. Watch your child make mistakes, go their own way, support things you would never have supported for yourselves, but you can see the benefit to another person. Doesn't have to be your child, could be your neighbor, could be your workmate, could be people on the other side of the planet. What they're heading for is self-destructive. Let's nurture them some better ideals. Oh, they came up with something so different. I'm not sure I even understand it. But how wonderful. Develop that. Teach me. I want to know what you're doing. Or I don't care for that, but I can see how much pleasure you derive from it, how much it identifies you. By the way, Namo Myo Renge Kyo. If you want to nurture the best behavior in somebody, even if you don't understand what they're doing, teach them Buddhahood. They will do the right thing for their freight train of energy. You don't know. It's okay not to know. Enlightenment. Whatever you do, play the piano, fix cars, entrepreneur, if your samsaric activities are all grounded in your pursuit of Buddhaness, how could you possibly go wrong? Because it doesn't matter what your preoccupation is in life if it's based on Buddhaness. That's the only real influence you can have on anyone. Everything else is just ownership, manipulation, stress, anxiety. That's what this says. This is what Nichiren is quoting Shakyamuni's words here. The beginningless illusions and ignorance that beset all living beings are all produced by the perfectly enlightened mind of the thus come one, the aha. Oh, be loving, kind, supportive in the single-minded effort toward Buddha. Just don't stand idly by. Be engaged, direct toward Buddha. The great teacher Tendai, in his Great Concentration and Insight, states, quote, ignorance or illusions are in themselves enlightenment through the essential nature of phenomena. But due to the influence of delusions, enlightenment changes into ignorance. It's already there. But all this stress, anxiety, and manipulation about it just makes it worse. It puts too many conditions to it. Just chant. Honey, I know you're going to go meet with your friends, and I'm not going to see you for a few days, and it stresses me out to no end. Will you please just sit in front of the Butsudan with me for just a few moments. Let's chant together, please. Okay, now go do what you have to do. Oh, that's hard to do, yeah? The great teacher Miao Lo comments on this as follows, quote, enlightenment has no separate entity, but completely depends upon ignorance. And ignorance has no separate entity, but completely depends upon enlightenment. Doesn't that make sense? How can you discover being smart if you haven't also experienced being stupid? It's the world of opposites here. This is the duality of life itself we're talking about. If your freight train of karma with all of its amazing affirmation of life and its stupid, crazy self-destruction is just let free, then it's going to get hurt. It's going to have great moments. It's going to express and experience all of it. However, if you take that freight train of tendencies and conditions and you constantly remind it of itself, its selfing, its construct, the amazing instantiation of every moment of life, of being, well, then the samsaric consciousness is influenced in a much more loving, kind, nurturing, life-affirming way. You can't impose that on someone. Only they can do it for themselves. Oh, where have we heard this before? You can't force Buddhahood on others. Your Buddhahood is your Buddhahood. Only you can achieve that. And no matter how much you teach, act, example, your only influence is influence to do. But if your influence stops with, you see how shining and brilliant I am? You have to engage. You have to say, look, take a look. You don't have to stay. You'll have your own motivations, but just try this. Just do this. Just, entertain me. Try this. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Okay, you're leaving now? Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Yes, Mom. Yes, Dad. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. That's right, son. Have a great day. Okay. God, my dad is weird. Okay, I'm weird. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Constantly reinforce Buddhaness in everyone, not just your son or your parent or... Gosh, I'm going to have to call my insurance company. Why did you back into me? This is really inconvenient, isn't it? Namu myoho renge kyo. What are you saying right now? I'm just trying to invoke the positive we can gain out of this. I'm sorry this happened. I don't even want to argue whose fault. This is a great opportunity for us to. Have you ever heard of Namu myoho renge kyo? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Enlightenment. You know, in this moment of stress and anxiety, we can't change it. Let's turn it into a positive somehow. The only thing I know how to do is to chant Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Try it. You're nuts, man. Do you have your insurance papers? Yeah, I'll get them. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. And you go and get them. And he looks at you, man, I ran into some wacko today. Well, okay. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. This is the advice I got a long time ago from an elder Japanese person who'd been practicing their whole life. He said, sometimes you just need to be a mindless Buddhist. And that's what he meant. It didn't mean have no mind. He was just saying, you just gotta let go of your ego. And just be Buddhist. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. It's amazing. It sticks with me to this day. And that's what I'm hearing here. Enlightenment has no separate entity, but completely depends upon ignorance. And ignorance has no separate entity, but completely depends upon enlightenment. This is the duality of samsara. You're human. That's great. With all of its weirdness. Because that's your expressing your karma. You want to nurture the affirming stuff. The stuff that makes you feel tingly inside. Ignorance is a state of delusion that must be cut off. You have to stop pretending that you're a victim. That life is happening to you. Like the accident, like the child, like the parent. Whereas enlightenment is the state that one must manifest. It takes effort. It takes effort to be kind, to appreciate. I don't mean I'm not, I've had the visuals in my head of, just be kind. As like some idiot who doesn't know better. No, that's not kindness. That's ignorance. Right? You can't just play dumb. Kindness is a compassion. I understand I don't understand what you're going through, because I'm not you, but I understand that you're going through it. There is pain. There is anger. There is joy. Please, let's seek the joy even in this pain. The joy is even more meaningful as we are now experiencing the pain. Remember that discussion? There is the doubt. Stop owning it. And start witnessing it. Ignorance is a state of delusion that must be cut off. Stop owning it. Whereas enlightenment is a state that one must manifest. Start experiencing and witnessing it. Don't own it. Don't assign ownership for it. Oh, you are that. No. Oh, there is this. Scoop less of that up for yourself and notice you can shift it. You can influence it so that there is opportunity, nurturing, joy, love, whatever. Life affirming instantiations moment to moment to moment. Just do it. It takes effort. How then can we say that they are a single entity? To resolve doubts on this point, one should have a clear grasp of the passages that have been quoted here. The example of the dream given in the 95th volume of the Treatise on the Great Perfection of Wisdom and the Tendai School's example of a piece of crystal cited above are very interesting illustrations. Further proof of the truth that ignorance and enlightenment are one in essence is found in the passage in the Lotus Sutra that reads, quote, "These phenomena are part of an abiding law, and the characteristics of the world are constantly abiding." Energy manifesting, potential manifesting, moment to moment to moment to moment. The judging is an egotistical constraint put around this magnificent process. You're not going to change it by judging it. You can only influence the way to experience it, push it toward life affirmation experience, and stop trying to own it, because that's where you go downhill. That's where you start to feel stress, anxiety, pain, suffering. Great Perfection of Wisdom says, quote, "Enlightenment and ignorance are not different things, not separate things. To understand this is what is called the middle way." Do you understand? The middle way isn't a shunning of what's going on in the universe. It's a mental perception, witnessing of this entire gamut of life expression, some of which is volcanoes and some of which is brilliant, sunny, misty rain, blossoming flowers, gorgeous. And we must always remember that the lava that flows out of the volcano becomes the most fertile soil for those blossoms to exist. They're the same energies, they're just expressing themselves differently. And for our mental, mindful experience witnessing, we are neither the flower or the lava. We are the experiencer of that gamut. That raises your awareness, your participation, your immersion in the process far, far larger, immense experience of life, untrapped, unbound by the extremes. That's the middle way. There are many passages of proof asserting that the wonderful and difficult to understand principle of the true aspect of reality possesses two aspects, the defiled and the pure. But none can surpass the one in the Flower Garland Sutra that says, quote, "The mind, the Buddha, and all living beings, these three things are without distinction." Or the passage in the Lotus Sutra that describes the true aspect of all phenomena. I didn't get very far in this sutra today, but this is such a critical point. I'm going to end on that note. Is this making sense? Does this raise questions in your mind about things? Talk to me. Use the comments section. Right? Let me know who you are and where in the world you're practicing. If it's something you deem too personal to share on a public forum, I understand. Email me, tlksylvain@gmail.com, right? And we'll talk that way. Good will come of it. Healing will come of it. Enlightenment will come of it. It has no choice. Life is for you, my friend, for all of us, to witness this amazing engine of life, this being. There is nothing grander. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your practice. Please take a moment to thumbs up, right? Please do that. And subscribe if you haven't already, because that helps to grow our Sangha. That's a bodhisattva act. Thank you. And if you're able to support our efforts here, my efforts here, financially, Patreon, paypal.me/Sifu Sylvain. Every little, I know I say that all the time. That's what everybody says. But truly, nothing is free in this world except advice. But my whole mission here is not just YouTube videos. There's information on threefoldlotus.com. There's books that I've created, like the one I'm reading from right now, that are on lulu.com. The point is to support your practice, to spread this practice to more people, to do it with clear understanding. No mysticism, no magic, no dues you got to pay because somebody knows more than you. Bull crap. This is your Buddhahood. You should have all the tools available for you to attain it. That's why I make this Nichiren inscribed mandala available to everyone. Don't hide it. Protect it. It's an amazing tool. Value it. Respect it, because it's your enlightenment. Why wouldn't you respect it? Respect your enlightenment. Right? All right. Started out kooky. I'm going to end kooky. I love you guys. I want you to succeed. And you will. Just chant. Okay? Be kind to yourself. Take care of your health. I'll see you in the next one. Okay? Bye for now. Myo.